Good morning, Allison, and welcome to Business Spotlight Interview. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning.
Thank you so much, Colin. I really appreciate being here.
You're welcome. So maybe to get started, and for the viewers, just give us a little bit about yourself, your business, maybe how long you've been in business, etc.
I'm Allison Dickson. I've been a nurse for, I think, going on 19 years now. Initially, I was a registered nurse. I worked in the emergency department, and then I switched over to quality improvement and risk management. And I really wanted to get away from the corporate hospital system. Going into leadership and seeing behind the curtain was kind of a slap in the face for me on how the business side of hospitals work. So I saw information on legal nurse consulting. I thought that sounded really interesting. And so I looked into it and I decided to get certified in that and started my business in 2019. And I've been going ever since.
Excellent. Yeah, so you've been at this for a while. It's always good to have deep expertise. So when you think about success, Allison, it wouldn't have to be in your industry, but just in general, is there anybody that comes to mind?
For me, success looks like my dad. My dad came from very humble beginnings. He was one of, I think, 8 to 10 kids. I can't even remember. He's an Italian Catholic. So lots of kids running around. Even growing up, he had to know indoor plumbing in his house. He graduated high school. He went to trade school, became a master electrician. He repaired printing presses. That was his trade, and eventually went on to own his own business. What really sticks out for me, though, with his success is that the relationships that he built during his time in his job. So he worked for a company and they said to him, "We think you're great. We think you're fabulous, but you're too expensive. You've been with us for a really long time. And we could hire 2 or 3 younger guys for what you cost." So he said and they were great to him. They gave him a nice severance package, all of that, but he left and those customers that requested him left with him. And to me, that's a mark of true success because he's built those relationships and they knew they could trust him. And that's, to me, what success really looks like.
Well, that's a fantastic answer. Many people do say their father, their mother, but the background you gave a lot of color to that. So I really appreciate that. Business is all about relationships at the end of the day, both internal and external. So excellent. So you've been in the industry pushing 20 years, it sounds like, and you've owned your own business. I think you said 2019, so almost 4 years. So in that 4-year journey with your own business, what's been some of the most important or biggest learnings that you've had out of that journey?
I think probably the biggest thing is I'm a nurse. I'm not a business person. And so for me, it really is about, cultivating relationships. You have to have people trust you when you're a nurse. So I think bringing that to the business side, I joined our local B&I chapter, which has since dissolved, sadly. But learned so much there about giving instead of expecting people to give to you, cultivating relationships and really relationship marketing. Giving referrals are huge in business in order to have somebody, reciprocate that. So that's something that I think I learned a lot along this journey because of being a nurse and having absolutely no business background whatsoever.
Yeah, great answer. I've got a daughter who's a RN, by the way, so I have a compassion and understanding for nursing and what you all go through. So thank you for your career and what you give back to all of your patients. And it's awesome that you're able to use this to leverage your own business. Really cool. So 4 years in, if you basically double that time, maybe 4 or 5 years out, what's the aspirations for Vital?
The really cool thing about legal nurse consulting is we have independent contractors. So we have legal nurse consultants that own their own business, do the marketing, all of that business side. But then we also have those that don't really want to own their own business. They don't want to deal with the marketing. They just want to do the work. So we're able to hire them to take on a lot of the bulk of work. And we kind of sit back and manage the business and get clients. We review their work product and then we send it out. The great thing about that is I can virtually own a business without really having to do a lot of the grunt work. So that's where I really want to be in the next 5 years, is having some really good independent contractors that are doing the medical reviews and writing the report. Then I'll be able to review them and send them to the attorneys and not really necessarily have to be doing a ton of the legwork. Really just cultivating relationships, building the business, doing the marketing aspect.
So you're located here in the Newnan, Georgia area, correct?
Correct, but we can work with attorneys across the country. So,
Okay.
and even some in Canada.
Okay, so then when it comes to either independent contractors or staff that you'd onboard directly with your company, what's been your experience for finding the talent here in this area that's required?
Because we can go outside of our local area, it hasn't obviously been difficult for me, but I do know that attorneys are having a hard time finding legal nurse consultants that are testifying experts in Georgia, because they prefer to have the experts come from Georgia. My husband is actually he is the manager of the kitchen at RPM downtown. And I know they're having a really hard time, with wait staff and kitchen staff. So I know this climate is really hard. I'm sure at Piedmont Newnan, they're having a hard time finding nurses. The climate right now isn't great. But I think I'm lucky because I do have that national pool to choose from. So I'm actually really lucky in this business to be able to do that.
Excellent. As a side note, the food at RPM is excellent, by the way.
I don't know.
As you know, Allison, I own a business coaching firm here in town. So coaching is near and dear to my heart. So I have to ask you this question. So if you look back in your life, who do you consider your best coach for you and why? And it could be business or personal, but.
I think this may sound cheesy. Number one, God. I really try to have a faith-based business to be led by Christ. I think that's just my foundation. I have a really great business partner. She's a former nurse, and her brain just really works in the business side of things much better than mine does. So she's great because she was a nurse. We can talk medical speak, but she's really great with the whole keeping me online with my appointments and making sure that I'm making meetings on time, and bouncing just amazing ideas off of. And I also have a coach from the AALNC, which is the American Association of Legal Nurse Consultants. Her name's Joanne Walker, and she's really my go-to for all things legal nurse consulting, where I can just shoot her a text and say, help, I don't know. And she's been doing this for a really long time. So it's really great to have somebody like her in your corner to be able to reach out to and just say, I've never come across this, because I'm still very novice in this business. So it's great to have that connection.
Yeah, you said a couple of really important things there, right? Having two co-owners that have different skills and talents, so you can bounce things off each other and leverage the skills of each, and having outside help and a third set of eyes, to help you. So great answer. And of course, your first answer, God, was even a better answer. So last formal question, and then I'll give you a chance to let the audience know how to get a hold of you. But you're obviously a lot closer to your 18-year-old self than I am. But if you had, could go back in time and give your 18-year-old self some advice just to improve your current position, what would that advice be?
I think I would tell probably not my 18-year-old self, because I think I went down the right path when I decided to go to nursing school. But I think after that, I would probably have told myself to get, I don't know if I'm necessarily a master's in business, but another degree or at least some schooling in business. Nursing is so wide range. You can do so many different things with it, but you can really do anything with a business degree too. So now I just feel a little bit like past that point in my life. So I'm just learning, learning as we go. But I think that's what I would have done.
Great answer. Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, my experience is that universities and colleges teach you how to be a really good employee, whether it's in business or in nursing in your case, but they don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, which is quite different. Yeah, so great answer. So finally, just for the audience, any offers, newsletters, ways they can contact you, websites, phone numbers, just make sure our audience can get in touch with you if they want to, Allison.
Yes, so my email address is adickson, ADICKSON, @vitallegalnurse.com. Vitallegalnurse.com is my website. You can reach me through there. All of my contact information is on my website. So my phone number, my email address. So that's usually the best way to get me and get my information and more about what we actually do.
Yeah, maybe one more just follow-up question on that. How would you describe your target audience? Is it more of the lawyers, et cetera, or is it more individual people that may have had a bad experience or have a case? Just who is your target audience that would want to get in contact with you?
Our target, easy for me to say. Our target audience is attorneys.
Okay.
Typically, we focus on medical malpractice. That's just because my background lends really well to what they do. But we also work with personal injury, really any attorneys that deal with health, injury, or illness or death, whether it be, family court, if there's an abuse allegation, or even criminal defense. Anywhere there's any kind of medical record, that's typically our big portion of assistance is reviewing and organizing medical records.
Okay, all right, perfect. Well, Allison, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. It sounds like you're well down the path of having a thriving business, and I wish you and Vital Legal Nurse Consulting all the best of luck.
Thank you so much. It's been such a joy.